Ben Fagan back with another episode of Career Cash, and in this episode, I am joined by BrandStar's marketing coordinator, Claire McCabe, and we're talking what life is like in that first job after college. She shares how she created this opportunity for herself by being bold, and she talks about how you can be bold too. Let's get to it. I am very excited for this. This is a very special episode. This is the lunchtime edition here. I got my PB&J in hand, and I'm joined by Claire McCabe, marketing coordinator, recent Lynn graduate at BrandStar, which is an entertainment agency that produces 10 Lifetime shows, among other things. And I'm really excited for this one because we're going to hear a lot about things about how we can transition straight from college, getting into jobs, and all of the awesome things that come with that. So welcome, Claire.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here and share some insight.
Absolutely. Well, I love it. So I always want to kind of start is getting a little bit of, background of the things that you do. So can you kind of walk us through what you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, so on a daily basis, I handle all the interns at our company. So I'm within the programming one division at my team, and then I'm under marketing. So my position is marketing coordinator. I handle all the interns. They send me their social content. I run all of our paid ads for all of the participants that come onto our Lifetime shows. I handle all the social media content. I overlook all of it. I run marketing campaigns, and I assist the director of marketing with flow, ideas, campaigns, all that jazz. My role just keeps getting bigger as some members of our team left. So I'm kind of in the transition period of what used to be just marketing and helping with like influencers and all that jazz to now taking on full responsibility of advertising and social media in our team. So it's been a good transition, a lot of adaptability, and it's been fun.
And so you start with BrandStar as an intern, correct?
Yeah, so I started as an intern last year. It's been a year since I've been an intern, and it's just crazy because I feel like BrandStar is like my family now. I started my internship remote, never met them until 6 months later in person because of the pandemic. I was home for my internship, and then I came back in January to meet them and back to school. So that was really cool. I felt like I knew them super well, even online. They're just such a welcoming and inviting company. They really make sure that like you're okay, you're feeling good about everything you're doing. They check in on you. They're just great people. And that's definitely my favorite thing about working with them is just how it really feels like a family environment. It's not all business. They care about like you as a person. They check in on you, all that jazz. So my internship was definitely the best experience I could have had. I learned like so incredibly much about the world of social media. And then they also like put me in on a little bit of advertising and marketing projects, because I was an advertising and public relations major in college at Lynn. So it really put what I learned in the classroom to what I could do and execute in my internship. And that was like the coolest thing to come back to my professors at Lynn and be like, hey, look what I'm doing in my internship. And they're like, wow, that's awesome. And eventually that led to this position now, which is my full-time position. I just kept doing the best I could during my internship. I made sure whatever they needed me, I clocked in. I like off the clock, it would be 6 o'clock at night and they'd ask me a question, I would answer it. And that's just how I showed that I was dedicated and I really love BrandStar and I wanted to continue with them. So I think that's really what got me where I am today. So yeah.
No, definitely. And I mean, I had the great privilege just for a short period of time of getting to see how you work and go about things as an intern in our office with Career Connections. So that's, really, really cool to see that growth. One thing that, caught my attention is you started as an intern, and that's why I asked that question, just because I wanted to bring some context to things, is you started as an intern with BrandStar, and now you're overseeing the interns. And so can you kind of talk about what that transition has been like, what that dynamic is like? Because I think that's the coolest thing about the whole idea around the Career Cash podcast here is you're, just a few steps ahead. You were in that same position as a student, as an intern, and within a matter of, when did you start with BrandStar? A few months back. If this is July now, you started in May.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. So can you kind of talk about a little bit what that transition has been like and what it's like to go from being an intern to now supervising the interns?
For sure. So it's honestly been like a whirlwind because I feel like I was just in their position like not too long ago because I was, but at the same time, I've learned so much from my internship, and I really learned like how my old supervisor, where I'm sitting now, edited me and like the content that I oversee now. So like just even watching her edit my own content, now I know what she looks for and all that jazz. And so now I'm looking at the interns content and seeing exactly what I used to get edited on. So it's just funny. And I think one of my favorite things about this new position is that I do get to work with the interns because I know exactly how they're feeling, where they were. So I can really relate to the interns and like giving them any piece of advice I can, because if they do want to like stay with BrandStar in the future, I think that's helpful too. And it's just cool because it feels like I've just grown so much within like the past year of just used to be an intern, and now it's like, wow, I'm doing what I like my supervisor used to do. So as much as it's like crazy, at the same time, it kind of just makes sense because I feel like I know it so well. So yeah.
So what were some of those things that you were feeling as an intern that you're kind of seeing, or you can kind of experience the other interns feeling? So what were some of those feelings like?
Yeah, I think as an intern, you're just always kind of on edge and you're just nervous about making the right move. And the thing I learned most from my internship with BrandStar is to just be bold and like, if you have an idea, do it. And then if it goes wrong, apologize later. Like, obviously, don't do something crazy or out of the box, but sometimes the most impressive things are when you just go for it, and then you can ask for forgiveness later. And my boss really believes in that. Like, she always says, like, if you have a great idea for social, like, don't ask about it first, like, just do it, and then if it goes wrong, we'll figure it out. So I love that like mentality at BrandStar, and I've really tried to push that on my interns now. And they've definitely proved themselves, and they're doing great, and our socials have gotten so much better since they started. So
Now, is that kind of attitude something that you personally felt like you had that ability to go and be bold, or is that something you kind of picked up and learned along the way?
I think a few mentors at Lynn University definitely helped me with that mentality. Definitely Barbara Cambia and Gary Carlin and Stephanie Powers, of course, the goats. They definitely always taught me to be bold. I think that's definitely something I have within myself too. But you're always timid when you're an intern because you don't want to mess up. You don't want to lose your spot because you can get fired even if it's an internship. It's you don't take the job lightly. Like, it's so serious because you can make a mistake. But I think that's like one of the best things I've learned during my internships is to be bold and to just like make those connections and like just doing it and then asking for like forgiveness later. And honestly, most of the time you never have to ask for forgiveness. And it's always like, wow, look who did this. They did that without me even asking. So just going above and beyond is definitely my advice.
And so I love that too. I love the bigger, the better the ideas. And I'm always thinking about that. And it can be a scary place in the head though, when the ideas start spinning out, but it's a fun place. Now, when, maybe let's say like I'm an intern or I'm somebody coming into this position and I'm like, hey, being bold, not my thing, not my thing. I'm, how do you help somebody through that process who maybe that's not something that they, naturally have? How do you help them kind of open up to that idea of taking that risk and being okay? Because there is a risk, especially on the creative side of things, when it comes to social media marketing, those things, when you're dealing with a lot of creatives, there is risk because there's always going to be people out there that may not agree or like the stuff that you're doing. So how can you help somebody who doesn't have that naturally get to that point of being bold, like you're saying?
Yeah. So I think the main thing too is like growing is always uncomfortable, and it's never going to be like a good like state of mind. You're never going to be like, oh, I feel so good today. Like, you're going to be like a little bit nervous. Like, even right now in my new position of moving into this position, I just feel like a little uncomfortable at times. Like, I'm not 100% confident, but by doing the research, by reading up articles, even on your off time, just learning more about like what's trending, what's going on, that can help you with becoming more confident in like setting out those ideas. Being bold just in general, all you can do is just practice and keep like pushing yourself to be bold. Because I remember there was times in like huge meetings of like 15 people, I would be so nervous. Like our vice president was there, all the jazz. Like I just couldn't. I was so scared, and so I just, whenever I had an idea, I'm like in my head, like before I raise my hand to say something, I'm like, oh God, do I say this? Do I not say this? Like, I don't know. And then sometimes when I'd say it, they would be like, wow. And so like just getting like that reassurance when you do say a good idea, like no one ever really has a bad idea. So just making sure you push yourself to raise your hand or say that idea or send that email, whatever it is. Like, for example, how I got my job was just because I emailed the vice president and said, hey, I love this company. Hey, I want a job here. And hey, like I'm here for the end game. So that's how I got my job. I jumped the loops, just being bold in that way. And even if it is uncomfortable, that's what you got to do. And I think that's really like what got me here. So
I love that. I love that. And it's one thing that I've heard recently. I don't know if I heard it or read it, but this whole concept of embracing the uncertainty, because it's something that like me personally, I'm somebody that, you know, I like to think about things, have them planned. I think as humans, we want to know what's going to happen. And if you look at when anytime good things happen in your life, a lot of times it's on the other side of uncertainty. You know, what's going to happen after I graduate? When you look back, oh, dang, look how I'm doing now. And I didn't know what was going to happen. So I think that's so cool that you're kind of getting to experience that too. And I remember, you know, when you were talking to BrandStar for, you know, the first time, you know, talking, you know, whether it was sending that email to, you know, your boss or trying to get the job, it was a nerve-wracking experience, you know? And so,
oh yeah,
I want to kind of, you know, have you shed some light on that, because I think so much of getting jobs and opportunities is creating them for yourselves. And you did an incredible job at that, and it's paid off for you.
Thank you.
So can you talk a little bit about that whole experience of sending that email, reaching out and saying, hey, this is what I want, and asking for what you want?
Yeah. So just a little back history too. Like I didn't even really know that I wanted an internship with BrandStar until they came into our classroom at the, I think it was Pulse Agency at the time. And it was actually for my friend, and she was like, oh, I'm so interested in BrandStar. I had no idea what BrandStar even was. And then I was actually like listening to her conversation, and then I was like, it sounds cool. Like, I don't know if that's the route I want to go, because I was so focused on advertising agencies at the time. And I was like, advertising is what I want to do. Little did I know that BrandStar had advertising in it. I just thought it was all producing shows and like entertainment. I was like, that's not really like my scene. So as I like got to know what BrandStar did, I was like, oh wow. So then I got a summer internship with them, obviously. And it really just grew into something beautiful. So I think just pushing yourself to like just take any job too is just like huge, because you never know what you're going to learn in an internship. So fast forwarding to now, to where I had that uncomfortable state of, oh my God, I'm graduating May. What am I going to do? Do I need a job ASAP? I know I love BrandStar. I know I want to stay with them. They mentioned something about like, if you want to stay, but they didn't really say anything else. So I was like, okay, are they waiting on me to say something? Are they going to reach out? Are they not interested in me anymore? So then I got to a place where I was like, okay, I need to talk to my mentors, obviously, talk to my goats, Barb, Stephanie, and Carlin. So I just chatted with them some, and they're like, be bold, send an email. So that was like a very scary moment for me, because I don't think I've ever been that bold in my life with a job or anything like that. So I chose my words the right way. I looked over the email about 100 times. I got like everyone's opinion. And I just sent it, and my boss like loved that. And she even told the CEO of our company, and she was like, we got to get this girl a job. They didn't even have a place for me, but they created a place because they loved my boldness. They love how hard I've worked during my internship. And that's really what got me here. And so really my best advice is just be bold to anyone. Even if you're terrified, it literally rewards you every time. So yeah.
I love that. And I want to just really hammer down on the emphasis of what you just said there, is you created this opportunity for yourself. the job wasn't even there, the position wasn't even there, but it came about because you asked, because, like you're putting it so eloquently, be bold and take these opportunities and use the resources that you have around here, whether it's here at Lynn, whether it's your friends, your family, another school, whatever it is that you do, use any and all resources that you have, because people are here and more often than not wanting to help you get to where you want to go. And so I just think that that's incredible that you're a living, breathing, walking example of what happens when you go out and take advantage of the resources that are out there, but also create the opportunities that you have for yourself. So I love that, love that. Before we finish up, I do want to kind of look in the future. We talked about the past, we talked a little bit about the present. So jumping in the future, where you are right now, just graduating college, just getting into this position, where are some things, what are some goals that you have moving forward, and what does the future, this is the loaded question, look like for you? Where does Claire McCabe want to be, down the road, and whether it's in this industry or another industry?
That's always a loaded question because we never know what the future holds, but I would just love to keep growing with BrandStar. I would love to oversee more people. I would love to keep learning. That's like one thing that I want to just keep doing while I'm at BrandStar, is just learn as much as I can, because already within the past 2 weeks of getting trained by my old supervisor, I've learned an insane amount of knowledge about paid advertising and even more about social media than I thought. So I just want to continue learning and growing within the company. Hopefully it's BrandStar, and if it's not, somewhere within the advertising and marketing world. I just can't see myself leaving BrandStar yet, just because they just feel like family. So I just hope to keep learning and just guide people too from where I've been, because I know how it feels to be an intern, and I love that I can work with interns now, and I love seeing them grow too, even just from when they started. I can already see such a difference in their social media content. It's like, wow, they used to make this graphic and now it's like an insane graphic. So it's really a cool thing to see. So yeah.
Beautiful. So it's that time of the show again where we're wrapping up with cashing out. And this is the segment where you leave the people with some cash to take on the road. Your biggest piece of advice, your biggest tip, your biggest lesson that you've learned along the way that's helped you the most, that you want to share with the people.
So of course I'm going to start with be bold.
Bold. If you guys didn't pick up on it already, you were not listening. So be bold. So love it.
Network like crazy. Like any person you meet, you have no idea how you're going to connect with them down the line again. It's okay to say no to opportunities. I think a lot of people struggle with that. But I think that's something that I really stick with myself. Like if I'm not interested and I don't see it serving me, say no. You don't have to take everything just because someone else is watching. It's okay to say yes too. I think is really important, because there's some internships that I had that it was like, oh, I don't know if this will really serve me. And they've been some of my best internships that I've learned the most from. And yeah, that's network, be bold. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say yes. And that's really it.
Wow. You got a lot of cash for the road there. That's super valuable. Claire, I really, really appreciate this. This was a lot of fun, and I'm super excited. Again, I'm glad that I got the, short little time to, get to meet with you, interact with you, when you're back here at Lynn, and I'm just super, super pumped to see all the great things that you're doing. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing the brilliance that's within your head. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben.